The Dental Brief is brought to you by Omni Premier Marketing and the amazing guests who bring wisdom and advice that you can put to use to take your business and practices to the next level. Find us on Facebook and join the conversation. Get ready to grow because we are kicking off the next episode in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Dental Brief. I'm really excited today. I can hardly spit the words out. I've got two guests with us today, both doctors. You know how much I love it when doctors take their time to share with us. This is going to be an exciting episode. I'm going to go from how I'm seeing left to right and first introduce Dr. Laura Schwindt and then Dr. Karen Tindall. Dr. Schwindt, go ahead and say hello to our audience.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here, and I'm excited to have a quick conversation with you, Patrick.
Yeah, excited too. Dr. Tindall?
Yeah, hi. Equally, we love it when we get to meet new people and have conversations about topics we're passionate about. So thank you for having us today.
Yeah, and this is going to be different than so many shows. I'm grateful for that. You've started something called the Mentor. We're going to jump into that a little bit, but I want to first ask you briefly, because there's two of you, how'd you get involved in dentistry in the first place? How'd you get into this wonderful community and industry?
So we're both longtime dentists who went into dental school from Laura from college, and me straight at age 18 back in England, went to dental school. And then after we'd been longtime dentists through different paths that have led us to this point, Laura and I both had a passion for the total well-being of people in dentistry. And being able to now be in this area where we can support people in this way has brought us to where we are today. And maybe Laura, why don't you share a bit about how we got to the Mint Door?
Yeah, thanks. We both really enjoyed bits and pieces of being dentists, mostly the relationship piece and the transformation piece of being dentists, where we transformed our patients' lives. And the passion that we have for well-being then flowed into also wanting to take better care of the people that take care of the patients, because we realized, looking back, that we could have been much more effective, much more productive if we had taken care of ourselves as well as our patients. And so that really was kind of the birth of the Mint Door, where we now focus on bringing well-being to dentists and dental teams.
So let's talk about that well-being a bit. I have to say, this is, sometimes the universe, if you will, or whatever higher power you may believe in, sometimes delivers things in kind of a unique way. And this has been a really interesting couple of weeks here in the Dental Brief, because we've had multiple guests on that we didn't plan for in a row, and they're talking about health and wellness and practices. I mean, it's really kind of fascinating. These are all going to get bunched together, and I think it's great for those that want to take a deeper dive. But let's talk about problems, challenges. Let's talk about those health issues that you're seeing in practices. I mean, stress has been a big topic. I'm sure a big subject. It's been in the news. People are getting a little older in dentistry right now, and I think starting to feel that pain. We've seen practices stay past what they would typically retire before. But what are you seeing out there? What are some of the problems and complaints that you're hearing from dentists and other healthcare professionals that are calling you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great question. And I think the number one challenge that we hear from dentists is that they give so much energy and focus and time during the day that when they leave work, they have nothing left. They don't have any energy left for their loved ones, for the things that outside of dentistry that used to bring them joy. And this creates a lot of burnout. And so that is one of the things that we really focus on, is how do we bring more balance to your energy? Energy is really the key throughout the day, so that at the end of the day or on the weekends, you can enjoy the things that you love, your family, your loved ones, your hobbies, your activities outside of dentistry as well.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Dr. Tindall, what are you seeing? Are you seeing the same things? Are you seeing something different? Additional?
Yeah, well, Laura and I work together in our roles at the Mint Door, and with the practices that we work with, what we see is that the practice owners and the associate dentists are just so busy. They are juggling multiple roles in any one day, wearing so many different hats. And it's just, how do you manage to do everything to a level that makes you feel that you're doing a good job? Because I think people, the practice owners that we're seeing, they do want to care for their teams. They genuinely, like Laura said, they genuinely want to nurture the people in the practice. But it's just, where do you find the time to do it
Sure.
in amongst trying to be the business owner, the person that will help, with any little problem? You're the person they're going to come and talk to.
Sure.
So it's juggling everything.
Yeah, let's do this kind of for fun. Let's just envision for a minute that we're on a 4.5-hour flight from the West Coast to the East Coast or vice versa. We sat silently next to each other the entire time. And then the ding goes off when we're at the gate and it's time to get off. And now's the time where people that haven't spoken the entire flight are now strangers, are now talking to each other for whatever reason. You know what I'm talking about. You've been there. And I tell you I'm a dentist. I'm not a dentist, but I tell you that. And you tell me what you do. And then I say, wow, this is kind of what I'm going through. What are some things that I can do right now? By the time, we grab our bags and get off this flight, you've got that much time to tell me, what are some things that I can do to make some improvements in my life to overcome these potentially disastrous symptoms we all have?
That's such a great question. And I love how you frame that up. I'm imagining myself on the airplane right now. But I think one of the keys is to really focus on oscillation of your energy throughout the day. So all of us have periods, and especially in a dental office, where we are intensely working at a high level of energy, where you're with the patient. And it's important then that we allow our bodies to recover from that. So our body naturally goes through a rhythm during the day every 60 to 90 minutes where we can really focus and really be intense. And then we need to step back and take a moment to give our body a break. And so this is often not how it happens in a dental office. Usually the minute you walk in, you are running until the minute you walk out. It's go, go, go time. And so just being conscious of those every 60 to 90 minutes, taking a break. And one of the best things you can do is super free and super easy, and you can do it anywhere, is some breath work. And so a couple minutes of calming breathing where you're breathing out a little bit longer than you're breathing in. And a really great technique is the physiological sigh, which is something we all do every 5 minutes, but it's a quick inhale and another inhale and then a long exhale. So it's something like and just a couple minutes of that in between to kind of allow your body to recharge, rejuvenate, and replenish itself so that you can go back to that next patient and be productive again.
Dr. Tindall, let me ask you this question. I think, Dr. Schwindt, what you said is true. It's something we should all practice. I think sometimes it comes into our mind. Maybe you've never heard of it, but I think a lot of people have, but they don't actually, I don't want to call it discipline because it's not like running. It's not like dieting, right? It's kind of a pretty simple thing to do, but how do we remember to do that? Like, how do we, when we're go, 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 what are some things that we can do to remember, hey, you got to stop, take a few minutes, reset, recharge? How do you recommend that? How do we recommend we do that?
Well, to be able to do these small, simple practices every day, you need to create it as a habit. And when things are habits, if they're small little things, and let's say remembering to stop and do a breathwork exercise or step up and look away from the close work that you've been doing, small habits take 30 days to establish and set in stone in your life. So have a little post-it note, maybe next to you in the office. All it needs to say is one word: breathe.
Yeah.
Step away, stretch. Something just very simple that is it will jog your memory to be able to do it. And you might not be great at it the first time you try. And the first day you might miss breathing 10 out of the 20 times that you maybe could have done. But the next day you'll get a little bit better, and then you'll get a bit better, because consistency is more important than the quantity of times that you're doing it. Even if you remember once a day, you're doing better than the day before. Sure. And you will find that within 30 days, you're going to be an expert at doing some of these things.
Makes sense to me. Let's talk about the website real quick. It's the mintdoor.net. themintdoor.net. I'm going to ask you this first, and I'm sure it's going to kind of go somewhere fun. Why the Mint Door? Tell me, how did you come up with that name? Why that name? There has to be some meaning behind that.
We wanted to create a place where we had a community of people who felt the same way that we did about who want to look after the well-being of their team and themselves within dentistry. And we had the idea that if we had a door, then people can come into our world, because we love having people come into our world. We love chatting and meeting new people. So it was the idea of having the door that allowed people to enter our world. And then maybe Laura, why don't you share about the color and why we chose mint?
Yeah, and we wanted it to be refreshing because it was something new. And so we chose the color mint, and it kind of goes along with dentistry as well, because minty fresh, there's a lot of minty things in dentistry. And so that was the reason we chose the Mint Door.
Sure. I could throw a third reason in there for you. Maybe you can adopt this. Maybe you say, no, that's crazy. But if you want to have a long career, right, you want to financially do well, the longer you work, most likely the better off you're going to do financially. There's another Mint reference in there for you too. So I know a lot of our listeners are always wanting to grow their practice, but you got to be healthy to do that. That makes a ton of sense. So tell us a little bit about your programs. You're very different in what you do. We typically don't have guests on the show promote themselves, but in this case, I think makes sense. Kind of tell us a little bit in a couple minutes or less about your programs and what you do for practices.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, one of the things that we absolutely love to do is our practice well-being program. And that is a program that we create. It's a bespoke program for each practice. And that's one of Karen's words that we've adopted from the UK. So it's custom because every practice is different. And so, we create a program, a wellness program for the dentists, the owner, and their team. Because a big piece of this, again, is the dentist cares about their team, but they just don't have the time, the capacity, the energy sometimes to put into taking care of the whole person on their team. And so that's where we step in, and we offer anything from workshops to in-person days to individual coaching, team coaching. And that way we can create something that works for each individual practice to bring these practices of well-being front and center to the team.
Makes sense. Last question for you. I was scrolling through your website, and it seems that you tend to work with more women than not, or that's kind of one of your big audiences. Do you only work with women, or do you work with everybody?
We would work with everybody because we do love working with women, but we know that there are dental practices out there where the practice owners and the associate dentists are men, and they genuinely care about their teams too.
Sure, of course.
So we will welcome anybody in, but as we know, the majority of dental teams are made up with women. So we will be there to help those guys through the drama maybe that they have with all the women in their offices of how do you're the practice owner and your nurse assistant comes in and she's in tears because her boyfriend split up with her and she can't, work. She's distracted. We'll step in, we'll help.
Right.
We'll be those people. So yeah, we love working with everybody.
Makes sense to me. I want to encourage the audience one more time. It's themintdoor.net. Check it out. It'll be on our website. We'll promote it on social media too. Dr. Schwindt, Dr. Tindall, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your time and thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate and love what you're doing to bring more of this information to more people in dentistry.
Thanks for saying so. I appreciate it.